Well, hello and welcome to Tea Time TU, coming to you live from Shell Shuckers at the corner of State Routes 224 and 53, just south of Tiffin, Ohio, as we do each and every week. I'm Russ Snyder, voice of the Dragons, alongside Tiffin University men's head golf coach Darby Rogo. Coach, how are you?
I'm exhausted.
I bet you are. Just got home probably late last night?
5 a.m.
5 a.m., so you're a little tired.
Just running on adrenaline right now.
Well, that happens.
Couldn't wait to get to the show.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It does have your name all over. This is Darby Rogo. If you'd
Tiffin Golf.
Tiffin Golf. It's all good. Well, we have the school year has concluded. The commencement was last weekend. Some sports are still active right now with conference tournaments, national tournaments, but the golf season has officially come to an end as of yesterday afternoon at the Midwest Central Regional, where the Dragons end up finishing 11th.
Yep, we did. We came to a close yesterday, and not the fashion that we wanted it to. This was a heck of a roller coaster year, and the Super Regional was no exception. I'm proud of my guys. But it was tough yesterday, and we just didn't play very well, and it was. That 8.5 hour, 9 hour drive home was okay, but before I went to bed on Tuesday night, I thought maybe we'd be coming home a different way, but it is what it is, and now we've got to prepare for next season.
Well, after I think day one, you guys were finished. You were sitting at, was it 7 or 9? Eighth, right there.
In 8th place, yeah.
Within like 9 strokes or something.
We were 9 shots off the lead, and we shot 300 in the first round. And Fox Run Golf Club, absolutely awesome golf course, and the staff and the pros there, and the entire Missouri Golf Association that helped run that, they were phenomenal. It is, this was our 3rd regional that we've participated in, since we've been eligible for postseason. And I'll tell you what, the golf course was in great condition. It was tough, and the staff and everybody at Fox Run helped to make the championship very special. Anything you needed, they were right there for you. The food and beverage general manager, Robert, was on the top of everything. The team dinner to start everything off after the practice round. They could not have done a better job of running an event, and I want to give them the credit they deserve. And getting into the event itself, the first day we went out and shot 300. Mm-hmm. Malone was leading the way at 291, and while we were in the mix, top 10, we really played so much better than that score, and unfortunately, we gave away 5 or 6 shots in our last 3 holes as a team, and it was, it's not the end result, but that's a killer when you give away shots down the stretch, and we did not close very well day one.
Well, yeah, day one I saw you posted on social media. I'm like, okay, well, they're right there, and then you guys come out on day 2. It must have caught fire a little bit because you guys jumped all the way up to the 4th position after day 2, so your kids must have played really well.
Well, and this was we did play well on day 2. We had minimized some of our mistakes, but this really sums up the event. There were 2 waves each day, and in day 1, we were in the afternoon wave, and we had phenomenal weather. And in the afternoon wave, we played very solid, because the conditions of the golf course were much better in the morning.
Okay.
In the afternoon, you already had 6-8 teams, 5 guys, so 50-some players plus had gone through the golf course. The greens were very bumpy in the afternoon, so for us to close out the round at right around 300 was pretty solid, considering that all the morning rounds were the ones who were in the lead.
Okay.
Malone had teed off first thing in the morning, 291. Grand Valley had teed off first thing in the morning, 293. So the early rounds, the golf course was in a little better condition because it hadn't been trampled on with all the players. In fact, one of the spectators from the University of Findlay, his son Marcus Hunt was playing. His dad had made the comment. He says the greens look like the elephants had trampled on them, and it's just not they were in bad shape. It was just the wear and tear from having so many players on the golf course. So I felt good about that. Day 2, we teed off in the morning.
Okay.
We had that advantage. There was no wind. We went out and played well. Shot 297, and in all reality, we played about 4 or 5 shots. We could have played 4 or 5 shots better. Mm-hmm. You always give away shots. You can say that. Whether if you bogey your first hole, you've given away a shot. But we did the same. We didn't make as many mistakes, but we kind of did the same thing coming down the stretch. Mm-hmm. Bogeying a couple of our last couple holes. And that hurts us because it could be 1-2 shots here and there. And but we achieved our goal of. I feel like if we can shoot 299 or better in every round, we have a chance. And I'll touch on that a little bit later. So playing in the morning helped us because there was no wind.
Sure.
The afternoon, the wind picked up, and all the scores ballooned.
Yeah.
And we went from 13th to 8th to 7th, and we're sitting at dinner with our phones watching, and we're at 4th. And we did our job in the morning, and what happened is the weather helped us out in the afternoon, and that's how day 2 ended. And we go in tied for 4th, only 7 shots back of the leader, and obviously a position that we wanted to be in, and it was exciting for us.
And you said there's 4 or 5 shots that you probably could have had back there as well, but there's a lot of coulda, shoulda, wouldas in a game
Well,
of golf.
sure, and I could sit down with every coach. All 20 coaches were there, and they could say, "Hey, we gave away a shot here, we gave away a shot there." It happens, But what we have to do is kind of minimize those mistakes. Honestly, you give away 2 or 3 as a team, that's understandable. But we gave away 7 the first day and 5 the second day. That's too many. And at the end of the day, that could have cost us. But day 3 is a different story.
So I'm assuming day 3 you played in the afternoon again then?
Because of our positioning, we were in 4th place. We were one of the last teams off, and we just it wasn't a nerves thing. We just came out and we just didn't play well. The wind had picked up, and what had happened is in the morning there's no wind. Saginaw Valley goes out in the first group and posts a score of 3 under. They were literally finishing their round as we were teeing off. So they were done and already had posted that great 3 under number. It's the only under par round of the entire weekend or week. And we're talking about some of the best teams in the country. They're the only under par round, which tells you how hard the golf course was playing.
Yeah.
The rough was very thick. The greens were very fast and firm. It was a great setup. I have no complaints with the golf course whatsoever. It was awesome. But they were able to go out in the morning when there's no wind. It was very calm, wasn't very warm out yet, so it wasn't like the heat. I mean, it was high 80s, low 90s the entire tournament. So
and that's a lot different than what your kids are used to right here.
Yeah, after the practice round, I mean, we were all exhausted
bet.
because we weren't used to that 91-degree weather. Well, so Saginaw goes out and posts that low number, and basically it was like, look, they put pressure on everybody to play well. And, I tried to keep it away from our guys so they didn't know. And the afternoon rounds, if you look at the scores, compared to the morning rounds, were a handful of strokes, maybe 6 to 10 strokes higher.
Wow.
In fact, I think Malone might have been one of only 2 schools in the afternoon to break 300.
Okay.
We shot a huge number, and as a result, we ended up going from tied for 4th to 11th. We did beat some teams in the region and in the country that you kind of want to. When you're not going to win it, you still want to have a good position. I wanted to finish top 10. We were just outside of that, 2 shots out of the top 10, but to be honest, I'm not sure we deserve, not that one didn't deserve to be there, but sneaking in at number 10 and after such a roller coaster year, the fact that we even gave ourselves a chance after 36 holes, I can't be upset at all.
Yeah.
We didn't have it yesterday, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah, I believe John Tidenberg was the only one to break 80 for your kids on the final day, so it is going to be hard to win. With the quality competition you're playing
Right,
against.
with quality competition, you can't come out. I mean, what killed us is we started off the day, we were 8 over after 2 holes as a team. And we were 9 over the entire day before.
Yeah.
So when you're 8 over after 2 holes, we just played number 1 and 2 and 3, just bad. And when you kind of dig that hole for yourself, it kind of took a little air out of our sails. Everyone struggled in the afternoon. We just couldn't make enough birdies to come back, and because there weren't that many out there in the afternoon. I mean, we're talking 15 to 20 mile an hour gusting winds. There were par 3s that were late. We lasered at 197. They were playing closer to 230
because of the wind in your face.
Because the wind right in your face, and when you have that kind of setup and the whole locations the way they were, I mean, it's a grind. And yesterday, I think we just got off to a bad start and it took the wind out of us. And there's really no solution for it. You just got to learn from it and give a chance next year. And the frustrating thing is, you and I have talked about it. I don't expect our guys to shoot under par every time. I mean, I'd like if they did. It's no problem. I don't want to limit them. But the idea is we want to shoot 299 or better every time we step on the golf course. And day 1, we shoot 300. So it's kind of right in that ballpark, but we should have shot under 300. We gave shots away. Second day, we shoot 297. That's what I want. I want under 300. Third day, we shot well over 300, 321. Just not a good score, counting 3 scores in the 80s, which you can never do if you're going to be successful. Our guys hate to hear me say this, but if we'd have shot 300 on the final day, we'd have averaged 299 for the week, we'd have made it. We'd have finished 4th. And that's the hard part about it is I think they have to learn to understand that that's 3 75s and a 74. I'm not asking them to shoot in the 60s. They've got to learn that they have a 1 or 2 shot cushion. At our level, 299 or better, and you're always in the mix.
Well, that's there it is, Coach. But when you look at it with your young people who got the opportunity to play here in this regional and the experience they gained from it, it's got to pay huge dividends come next year.
Well, we met this morning when we got home about 4:30 in the morning. The guys are unloading their bags, and we had a little quick meeting with them. And I look around the room. Corey Martinez is the only player that we graduate.
Yeah.
Corey's going to come back as an assistant coach. That is very valuable for us because this will be the first year that we'll travel with our assistant coach, who is now by NCAA rule allowed to assist, allowed to help on the golf course, which is the first year we've been able to do that.
That's going to help you out greatly.
Greatly.
When
you talk about spreading 5 players out over 7,000 yards, to have 2 of us, instead of 1 trying to coach 5, it'll be 2 coaching 5. That helps.
Sure.
But his experience and his leadership, it's going to be great for us. The second part of that, every player that traveled, plus Tyler Shepins, who was a freshman this year, who really came on in the spring, we bring him back. That is invaluable experience. Tyler traveled with us. He was kind of our manager, helped me out. He couldn't help coach, but when I needed water for the guys or I needed stuff, he was always right there. And he got to watch everything. And I remember him sitting in the cart, and he looked at me. He goes, "How do you have any hair left? How do you not just pull it out watching us play like this?" I said, "You understand my frustration because there's times there's nothing I can do. There's no timeouts. There's no substitution." So it was very valuable for him to sit back and watch us do things well and for us to make mistakes. And I think he learned a lot just by spectating.
Yeah, as I say, just you don't have to be actually on the course playing to be able to take in the whole entire experience of it all. And, as you said, you wish it would have been different results, but it is what it is, and your season has come to an end. You're going to miss Corey as a player, but it's good, like you said, it's going to be nice having him there.
It's going to be great to have him back.
Yeah, he's got that knowledge, too. I mean, he seems like a kid who would be a coach.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal young man. He's very intelligent. He understands it, and that's why I think he had such a good year. It's frustrating to see him. He played so well the first 2 rounds, to see him struggle in the 3rd round, and I walked the last 6 holes with him because I wanted him to walk with him to close out his career, and he's going to be a valuable asset to us next year.
Yes, Corey's a kid we've had a chance to talk to quite a bit, and he's leaving, and now is there new kids you're bringing in?
We do. With our players that have signed a letter of intent, we've got a handful of good players coming in. We're very excited about it. We'll have a transfer, Robert Calo from England, we're very excited about. He'll come in with 2 years of eligibility.
Nice.
He's a very mature player, very tournament proven. We're excited about him. We're excited about Jay Green, Brett Green's little brother, who already plays for us, who is a phenomenal young man out of Michigan. Jordan Bolenbacher out of Parkway High School in Ohio City, Ohio. I'm very excited about him. We've got a couple other young players that we think can come in and that will develop and help us in the future. One of the things I think that helps us be very successful is our depth. And one thing that I don't want to say we lack, but one thing we don't have is that one guy that has to carry us. Everyone does their job. If you look at our scores, we're very consistent. There's very little gaps. Whereas some programs, they have one guy that carries them and they hope the other guys kind of play well. We've always had depth, and I think we're going to add to that, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, it's just like any other sport. The competition breeds success, and if you got players right behind you looking over your shoulder ready to take your spot, it better bring out the best view you're going to be watching.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about when we got home this morning, is that everything that you did last summer was not enough, because we did not have a very consistent year. This was the most. It's interesting because towards the postseason, we were in a position that we hadn't been in before. However, from an up and down roller coaster type season, this was not our most consistent team. So we need to build on that. And I think maturity will do that. I mean, we're still super young. So
you spoke about the summer there. What kind of program do you put the kids on in the summer? Is it just you should be on the course playing X number of rounds per week, or you should be out on the chipping and putting around the greens? How do you make sure that these kids are doing what they need to do to be more successful next year?
Part of it is I've always said, if I have to babysit you, we're not going to be very good.
Okay.
They have to take the initiative to do it on their own. In fact, by NCAA rule, I cannot make them do anything. I can give them suggestions. We have a summer improvement program that will be mailed out to everybody at the end of this next week, and it's suggestions on what you need to do or what is expected of you as a Dragons golfer. It includes weight room. It includes running. It includes your nutrition. It includes some mental sections that I want them to read through. And one of the things we have to do is play more tournament golf. It's fun to go out and play with your dad. It's fun to go out and play with your friends, and that's great. And it's okay to go hit range balls. I mean, obviously you need to do that, but we have to play tournament golf so that when we get into those situations like we were in this past week, that we don't crumble. We don't get off to a bad start because we're nervous. We sit back and we say, we've done this before. I always compare it to riding a bike. First time you ride a bike, you fall down.
Sure.
You get back up. You get back on the bike. You wipe off your tears. You get back on. You start riding again. You're going to be a little bit wobbly. You probably fall down again, but you get a little bit farther. The third time you get on the bike, you're wobbly. You take off. You're loving it. By the time you figure that out, everything's easy. I mean, if I asked you to jump on a bike right now, you'd have no problem riding it.
As far as you know.
But when you learned to ride when you were 5 or 6 years old, you struggled. And
absolutely.
So that's where we're at. We fell off the bike. We got to get back up. This summer is us really working hard so that we can, start pulling tricks on the bike.
Yeah, become seasoned, I guess
right.
would be a word to use. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other athletics going on around campus. Make sure that you give all your young men our best here. From Scott and myself here at Shell Shuckers, Corey, as we said, was a great young man we got a chance to talk to a lot, and we've had a chance to meet your other kids. So give them our best. I can't wait for next year.
The clock's
fun
ticking.
ride next year.
I can't wait for him to come back. I know it sounds crazy. It's the first day back. I'm going to get back in the office, pound on some of those stats, and figure out how to make us better. And I just can't wait for the guys to get back, and we can start it next year because I'm really excited about what I think we're going to do.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Okay, Dragon Baseball started out slow this year. A long losing streak, but boy, they kind of got it figured out once they got into GLIAC play. And later on this afternoon, they're playing first round of the GLIAC tournament against Lake Erie. So Joe got the kids turned around and doing good things.
That's the one thing about all of our sports here and our coaches. We realize it's not a one-day season. It's a progressive thing. And the reason the baseball team goes to Florida, the reason we go to Myrtle Beach, the reason we play early is we want to get experience. So when we get into GLIAC action, we're prepared. And Joe and Jimmy have done a great job of getting their guys to this point. I'm excited for them and playing in the playoffs because once you get there, throw the records out the window. Anything can happen.
Yeah, well, you look at the GLIAC standings. Grand Valley sits up top there, but just maybe not even a handful of losses, and a couple of those come from the Dragons early on in the season. So
not even a month ago they came here and we put it to them pretty
two
good.
out of three. So yeah, they're competing today in the GLIAC tournament down in Xenia, Ohio, just outside of Dayton, in a beautiful facility down there. I had a chance to talk to Coach Wilkins earlier this week as we got ready for next Monday's Dragon Radio program. Also got a chance to speak to Phil Conley. His women's tennis team coming off some great things, as well as their men's team. So Coach Conley's got some really nice things going. They battled Northwood at regionals. Northwood is all everything when it comes to tennis in Division II. And the Dragons were that close to pulling off the upset off of them, but they still only fell 5-3 in a great showing for the Lady Dragons.
Phil's building a really strong program, and we're really excited about what they've done as an athletic department. Kind of out of nowhere. He brought in some good young players, and he's really done a great job of leading them. And much like a lot of our programs on campus with those young players, the future is very bright. And I think that as long as he can keep these guys hungry, I think that on both the men's and women's side, they're going to do great things.
And he's a lot like you. He's got that Dragon pride running through him. He loves being here, and he's always a fun guy to talk to.
He is a good guy.
All right, another thing we should speak of before we get into the PGA stuff is the Tiffany University golf outing's coming up next month.
It is. It's less than a month away. I finish up my season and
no rest for the weary.
Yeah, there is no rest at all. And now you got to get ready to run the Tiffany University Athletic Department golf outing, which I have so much fun doing.
Last year was a blast.
It's my goal every year as part of the institution to put on an event that every person who attends walks away just super excited that they participated, and I've got some great ideas. The committee, we've got some great things working. We're excited. The gifts we're giving out this year are going to be phenomenal. It'll be a surprise. You got to come see what those are.
Yeah.
But you come and be a part of that, and everybody that works it, the coaches, the student athletes, the Mohawk Golf Club. And it's just it's fun to actually go to work on that day.
I've been around lots and lots of golf outings. I'm working at a golf course, playing in golf outings, all that stuff. And the one thing about the one that you put on here at Tiffany University is I didn't see anybody frowning. I didn't see anybody mad about the way they were playing. Everybody had a big smile on their face, whether they were grabbing some of the great food that was available there, whether they were talking about the prizes they received, or whether they're just talking about the golf they were playing. It just seemed like everybody just had an absolutely great time.
And that's the goal. I mean, I want on behalf of the institution and the committee, I want to make sure that everybody has fun. And so, from the setup of the golf course to the gifts to everything that we do, it's geared so that when you get out of your car, you're excited about what you're doing that day. When you go home, you want to tell your family about how much fun you had. I mean, that's my goal. I want everyone to have fun when they get there.
And once you get out of your car, you don't have a whole lot of work to do because everybody out there, the staff out there, is taking care of you.
The coaches and everybody does such a great job. It's kind of make you feel special. That's the goal.
Well, last weekend, let's talk a little PGA Tour golf. Last weekend, I'm sure you didn't get to watch a whole lot. We're getting your kids prepared for what you guys were doing in the regionals. But Wells Fargo Championship played at Quail Hollow Club, a beautiful golf course, absolutely beautiful. J.B. Holmes ends up winning it with a score of 14 under par, just one stroke ahead of Jim Furyk. And J.B. Holmes is your winner last weekend.
Well, what a great story it is to have J.B. Holmes at the top of the leaderboard. I mean, he had brain surgery just 3 years ago. Obviously, extremely talented young player. A lot of people don't know this, but he played varsity golf in Kentucky in the 3rd grade.
Oh my gosh!
In Kentucky, you can play varsity athletics. You don't have to be.
Well, Tim Couch was a starting basketball player in the 7th grade when
right.
he was so.
You basically have unlimited years until 12th grade to play varsity athletics.
My gosh, that's my son's age.
As a 3rd grader, he was playing varsity golf in Kentucky and was competing. He wasn't just on the team.
All you young people want to be a pro golfer one day. Here's the bench.
He was outstanding. He was a state champion in Kentucky, multiple state champion. Obviously, has had tons of success on the PGA Tour. Was an outstanding All-American at the University of Kentucky. A couple years ago, runs into, at a young age, it's a brain tumor.
Yeah.
Has it removed, recovers, and goes out and he wins.
To be able to have the motor skills to play golf after having brain surgery is amazing in itself.
And then to shoot 14 under at that great golf course. It's just a great story. And it's one of those things, again, that makes golf awesome. Is to think that he could do that and to see him back in the winner's circle. And he's been on the, I think, Ryder Cup team, the President's Cup team, and so he's had an illustrious career. But this is a bounce back that, unbelievable.
It's a storybook. It's a Hollywood story.
Right.
It absolutely
it's
is.
A movie waiting to happen.
It sounds exactly like it's a movie waiting to happen. It probably will happen.
Yeah.
Starring Darby Rogo. We'll see one day.
As
JB
his caddy,
Holmes.
maybe. No, that's his caddy.
Well, huge one this weekend on tour. Players Championship coming from the stadium course in Florida. It's at Ponte Verde Beach. And this is one that the players love. This is one the fans love, and it's should set up to be. They're on the course right now,
right?
So it should set up to be a fantastic weekend.
Well, it is one of the elite events of the year for the PGA Tour, and it has a tremendous field. And with the Island Green 17 at Sawgrass, and
well, that's 16, 17, 18 is a bear.
It is.
That tee shot. What's more intimidating, you think, on that course? The tee shot on 17 or the tee shot on 18?
If you, as a player, for me, it's 18
because of all that water along the.
Yeah, there's no room to miss,
well, you're a left-handed player.
No, sir, I play right-handed.
You play right-handed?
I do play right-handed.
Okay, so do you draw at all, or are you?
I'd like to hit like a little 5-yard cut. That's my goal, is to hit a little 5-yard cut, and the water's up that right-hand side. So any side spin, that's big trouble. And the Island Green obviously is very intimidating, but it's a wedge.
Yeah.
And so, favorite wedge or 9-iron in your hand, I feel a lot more confident than staring up water up the whole right-hand side with the driver.
And then if you go long, you could go into the woods as well off the right.
It's such a tough. And that's, I think, obviously the Island Green receives so much attention. And it is so much more exciting because it is such a yes or no kind of shot. But over the career of this event, only 11% of the balls hit the water.
Yeah, I believe it.
That is a lot, though, 11%.
Just depends on where those people are on the leaderboard.
Correct. But that drive on 18 is just it's scary.
I was watching Golf Channel the other day, and they were just kind of at a time lapse of all the players on their practice round, just showing guys hitting that tee shot, and it was like, local duffers getting together. You see a guy hitting 3 balls.
Yeah.
He would try to hit a cut, and he would, let's just hit it straight. And I was trying to fade to see where it ends up. But watching all the different players play, and so many of them were going so far right because that water is just so intimidating.
Oh, it's just staring right at you.
There could be white stakes around it, marking as an out of bounds, and just some weeds growing, and people they won't even notice it.
Yeah,
but you put all that blue water out there.
Oh, it just stares you right in the face.
Especially on a Sunday.
You can't, some people are like, well, we hit a 3-wood, hit a 3. You can't. The length of the hole requires
you got to be able to.
You got to hit a driver because that second shot demands that you're, inside of 200 yards. You can't just lay back on it. And so, that I think that hole is very intimidating. But obviously 17 catches all the attention. And familiar with that hole because of the replica at Eagle Eye, where we played the GLIAC Championships this year. They have a replica of that hole.
Oh.
And, patting myself on the back during the practice round this year, I made birdie on that hole.
There you go.
That's why I picked 18 as being tougher. Had to throw that in there for everybody.
That's one of my favorite tournaments. It's always great. It's the Sunday drama at the Players Championship rivals any of the majors, I think. So that's why I think it makes for great drama, makes for great television.
And you'll talk to some people. There are the 4 majors, and there are some players who say that this is as close to a 5th major as you'll get, and it's because of the field, because of the golf course, because of the time of the year. I mean, it deserves that.
And I think right now, this time of year is a perfect time of year for this tournament, just because there's so much great sports going on with the NBA playoffs, which have been fantastic this year.
Gosh.
The NHL playoffs have been fantastic. Baseball season's in full swing, so it's a great time for a Sunday afternoon. But then it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So
Yes.
let the wife do the mothering on Mother's Day.
Sit down with your mom and watch some golf. What's
or
wrong
take
with
her
that?
golfing in the morning and then watch the golf with her in the afternoon.
Just make her some dinner and say we're going to watch some golf.
Yeah, you sit
Moms
back
will
in the
love that.
recliner, honey.
Yeah, they'll
and
love
we'll
that.
Put it on. Put the TV on. I'll hold the remote. But all right, hey, let's do a little trivia about this weekend's tournament. We will not have Blake today, but Sports Information Director at Tiffany University, Shane O'Donnell, is going to answer his questions for us. So, Shane, when you get an opportunity, go ahead and grab that microphone, make sure it's turned on, and you can grab your questions. Coming into today, as Darby let Corey go 0 for 3 for him last week.
And I did go 3-0.
I know, but you said Corey's scores counted, so we had to take him. So Blake's sitting at first place at a 12-6 record. Scott's in second, owner here of Shell Sharkers Restaurant at 8-10, and Darby coming in at 6-12. Now I already have Scott's answers, and I can tell you he didn't do all that great today. Okay,
so I got a chance to catch
Our
him.
questions today are about the PGA Tour Players Championship. So let's start with question number 1. The last 3 winners of the PGA Tour Players Championship all have shown identical scores of, is it 272, is it 275, or is it 276?
Well, I tell you that, these scores are awesome, and I would really like for the Dragons to shoot these as a team each day. If we could go 16, 14 under par, that would be awesome. I'm going to say that 13 under par, 275, B is the answer.
Okay, so Darby goes with B, 275, and Shane?
275.
Shane will also go 275.
Follow my lead, Shane.
And both of you two gentlemen are correct.
Yes.
275, the last 3 winners, with Scott being wrong. He guesses 272.
that
so
is
Scott's
low.
0 for 1 right there, and Darby and Shane each have 1 correct. Okay, let's move on to question number 2. Who holds the PGA Tour Players Championship record with an overall score of 264? That's lighting that course up.
That is so low.
Is that Fred Couples? Is that Roberto Castro? Or is that Greg Norman?
Well, I see what you're trying to do here. You got 2 big names of 2 guys who in their prime were as good as anyone who's ever teed it up. Then you throw in Roberto Castro as this wild card. Now, I don't see you going BB twice. So I'm going to go with Greg Norman, C, at 264.
And Shane?
Greg Norman.
He's just following your lead. And you guys are both correct again. And Scott got that one right, too.
Good.
I thought the Castro name might. I think that was a name that maybe you were like, you know what? Maybe.
He's that guy that you never know. And
That's when I saw his name. I was like, that's a perfect one to throw in the middle of that question.
But I didn't know if you'd go BB
Pressure.
twice.
And I picked all these in my head before Darby, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
good
What doesn't
good.
help is he's picking for Blake, and Blake's now 2-0.
Oh, I know.
He's killing me.
So both you guys, pressure's on. 2
Yes,
correct
sir.
answers out of 2 questions. And our final question. Who is the only 3-time winner of the PGA Tour Players Championship? Is it Hal Sutton, Jack Nicklaus, or Mr. Tiger Woods?
Well, I'm going to let Shane answer first here.
I'll say Jack Nicklaus.
All right.
I'm going to say Hal Sutton.
And you guys, one of you is right. Scott was wrong as well. So Darby said Hal Sutton. He misses that question.
Oh, son of a gun.
Shane says Jack Nicklaus. I'll give you a little hint. If I ever get a chance to work Jack Nicklaus in as a correct answer on the program, I'm probably going to do
probably
it.
gonna be
so
right.
Shane gets that one right, and he comes in and goes 3 for 3.
Wow.
For Blake. So Blake's just going to let you pick the rest of the time,
Like
Shane.
15-6.
And Tiger picked, or Scott picked Tiger Woods. So
Yep.
that does our trivia for today. So Darby goes 2 of 3, Shane goes 3 of 3, and Scott goes 1 of 3. So Shane, thank you so much.
Send me the check.
We will. Shane gets the winnings. But Shane, we're probably about out of time up there, I imagine, as well. So Darby, it was a great year for your kids. Didn't finish out exactly the way you had planned, but I'm sure when you look back, the positives far outweigh the negatives.
Oh my gosh! These guys fought so hard all year, and like I said, it was so up and down. But I couldn't be more prouder of them to get to where we got at the Supers and be in a position. at our young age, I mean, we return 1 senior, 2 juniors, 2 sophomores, and we're bringing in 3 quality freshmen and a couple guys we're going to develop. I like where we're headed.
Yeah, and then next year when we do our live Dragon Radio programs, you can make Corey come in and talk as a coach instead of just a player, so
That's
we can
right.
put a little more pressure on him.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thanks to the great staff here at Shell Shuckers Restaurant, located at the corner of 224 and 53. Thanks to Scott Turner, owner of the restaurant. Thank you to Shane O'Donnell, Sports Information Director, for sitting in for Blake today. For Darby Rogo, I'm Russ Snyder, saying thank you so much for tuning in here for Tea Time TU. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University, go to tiffin.edu. More information on Tiffin University Athletics by going to gotiffendragons.com. Till next time, thank you so much for tuning in.